Yeah. My bank think I'm selling dope cause I'm paid way different, huh? 7 racks of publishing 2 times a day. Isn't it crazy? I don't talk a lot but somehow sound contagious with it. Okay, she keep me in her mouth, now my name.
How you all doing, guys? Brandon here. Welcome to Retro Dodo. And as you well know, 2019 brought a ton of retro handhelds. And the first one we're going to review in 2020 is this one here, the GKD350H. Now, this was available at the end of December, but obviously for review purposes, we had to take a couple of weeks to test it out and give you our opinion. So this video is the full review, and to be honest, this is one of the best and one of the most powerful retro handhelds coming out of China under the $100 mark, and it actually came third in our top retro handheld list of 2019. So if you're looking for a retro handheld that's powerful, that can emulate PlayStation 1 games, this is probably the one to pick up. Now, looking at the box, it's not appealing at all. This looks like it's straight out of a Kinder Egg, designed for kids, but in reality, it's a really decent handheld. So they could have done a bit more a bit more attention towards their packaging. So there it is, the GKD350H. You've got some specs on the side here, which I'll go through in a minute, and we've got the black version. It does come in a number of different colors. All of the color ones look a bit childish in my opinion, but we've got the transparent black here, and it does come in a transparent version as well, so you can see the interior. So here it is. This is the GKD350H, and one of our favorite handhelds on the market at the moment. And you could class it as probably the best under $100 if you're looking just for power. So let's take out the handheld itself and plop it there. Inside the box you get your USB cable, and that's about it. No screen protectors or cases, just the handheld itself. So we'll chuck the box to the side and take a look at the handheld itself. Now, here it is. This is what it looks like, and in my opinion, the transparent charcoal or black version is by far the best looking out of the bunch. On the front, you have a 3.5-inch 320 by 240 IPS display, and it is incredibly bright and incredibly crispy as well. One of my favorite features of the handheld. Now you can also see the design of the shell. It's got like these curved edges here, which I really like. It makes it very comfortable. If you take the Retro Game in, for example, the Retro Game 350 is a little bit sharper, so the curvature on the edges here and on the shell actually make it a lot more comfortable. So here's the face. You've got your D-pad here, which I might add is extremely bouncy and has nice feedback. You've got an analog stick here, which is, I like to call an analog slider, which sits flush with all of the other buttons, meaning when you do take it in and out of your pocket, it won't snag, unlike the Retro Game 350 here, which I had a few issues with catching on my pocket, but that wasn't really a problem at all. So this is a lot more slimline and a lot more pocket friendly. You've got your colored buttons here and your start select and a speaker down here. On top of the handheld is where all the goodies are. So you do have 2 shoulder buttons, not 4 unfortunately. Some of you may think this is a killer, but in reality, when you're playing PlayStation 1 games, 95% of them you're not even going to use the other 2 shoulder buttons for. So just having 2 is perfectly fine in my opinion. You have your headphone jack, your micro USB, your on-off button, which you hold to turn on the device, like so, and you get your micro SD card to install your ROMs. If you're new to retro handhelds, these ones coming out of China allow you to install your own ROMs. So if you want to play Game Boy games, SNES, NES, Mega Drive, you can. You just install your ROMs on here and it will play them for you. And there's the back. Now, there's a couple of features I want to talk about that really do disappoint me with this handheld, and it's not a big issue, but for some it might be. So first of all is you can tell there is no volume wheel at all. There's also a sticker there that I need to peel off. There's no volume wheel, so the only way you can do that is by holding the start and select button and pressing down on the D-pad, which isn't a big issue, but I would have liked an actual volume wheel or a volume rocker on the handheld, which makes it easier to just turn it down if you need to. And also as well, you will notice that when I'm playing games like so, you will notice that the speaker grill here is right under my hand. So what I found is that when I'm playing games, I actually muffle out the sound with my own hand when playing. So this is a really poor feature that GameKitty has, added onto here. They could have added it at the bottom or even on the back of the handheld as well. So very poor placement of the audio speaker there, which really does dampen the audio experience of the GameKitty350H. And lastly, another feature which I don't like is this on the back here. The battery pack or the battery door has all of this text on, which makes it look very, very low quality. And, I just don't like that. They could have done that inside the battery case, or they could have engraved it to make it look a lot more slimline. But, for me, it's a little bit disappointing. Like, the retro game doesn't have that. You can get a normal battery pack, the BitBoy, nor does the retro game 350. Well, it does, but it kind of looks a bit more sleek, whereas the white and the, I don't know, that looks like Times New Roman or something, font on the back really does make it look a little bit sloppy. But that aside, it is a really good handheld, and for one reason only, is because it's got a very, very high-end processor in it. I think I just accidentally started the bloody calendar here. Great. There we go, back into the main menu. So if I zoom in here, this is, I'll turn off these lights as well. Hopefully that will help. Might be a little dark, but you can see the screen now. So this is basically the menus inside, and if you go over to emulators, here is all of the consoles it can emulate. So MAME, SNES, NES, Game Boy, Neo Geo Pocket, Game Boy Color, PlayStation, Mega Drive, WonderSwan, Game Boy Advance, and a couple more for you there as well. So for those of you out there wanting to play your retro games, this is going to be no problem at all playing what you want. So inside of this is actually a 1.9 gigahertz CPU, so it is a very powerful CPU inside this thing, and it beats its competitors, the BitBoy and the retro game, in that category. So this is why I think it's one of the best ones to pick up in terms of PlayStation 1 emulation. So let's jump right into it and test some of the games. So what I'm going to do is basically give you 30 seconds of some of the emulators so you can see how well it plays, if there's any frame rate drops or if there's any crashes. So let's just jump right in and give you some gameplay of the Game Boy emulator. Okay, so there's a look at Game Boy, and because it's an emulator, you can actually press the shoulder button and you can save state from the exact frame like so. And just to come out, you go back into load state and you can load the state that it was saved from. You can also add cheat codes, go into settings and change the resolution. And that is the same with all of the other emulators as well, including the Mega Drive and the PlayStation 1. So that's a nice way and a nice reason to pick up these handhelds, because you can save from the exact state and you can go through and load all of your other emulator save states as well and add cheat codes should you want it. So that was a look at the original Game Boy. Shall we go into Game Boy Color and have a look at that? And there is a look at Shantae. And all you need to do to get out of it is, if you want to save, you go to save state, or you can come out of it and click quit. So you've seen Game Boy, you've seen Game Boy Color. Let's take a look at Game Boy Advance. And there's a look at Mario Kart on the Game Boy Advance. And as you can tell, that was sticking at 60 frames for the whole game. Not one problem at all, and the audio was great as well. To come out of that, just click exit, and then you're into the main menu here. So what should we try now? Should we try Mega Drive, and then we'll go on to PlayStation, because that's what you all want to see. I can't get a hit off. There we go. Come on. One more. Oh! There you go. That's what I was after. This is it. He's gonna kick my butt. Oh! Oh! Is he even gonna touch me? Oh! I don't know how to finish him. How do I finish him? Oh, I just kicked him in the groin. So there's a look at Sega Mega Drive again. To come out, hold your start select button and exit. So let's do what you've all been waiting for, and let's take a look at the PlayStation 1 emulation. I need to come out of that, and actually no, let's go into the PlayStation 1, and let's take a look at Crash Bandicoot Warped. And I don't know if you noticed then, that loaded incredibly quick. And because of the high CPU power on this thing, it loads these ROMs very fast. Unlike the Retro Game 350 and the BitBoy, it takes a few seconds to load them up. But with this, the GKD350H, incredibly quick. Now while this is loading up, I don't know if you can notice, but when I hold the speaker, or when I hold the ABXY buttons, the sound gets a little muffled, which is very annoying because I'm a big fan of audio experiences, and to get that nostalgic feel from the speaker when it's muffled is a little bit disappointing. But let's jump right in. And there is a look at the PlayStation 1 emulation on the GKD350H. Not a problem, and ran silky smooth at 50 frames. Lovely. So overall, the GKD350H, in my personal opinion, is one of the best retro handhelds you can pick up around the $80 mark. Now, if you've read our article about the best retro handhelds, you will know that this came third place. Now, for that reason, it was because of the bad location of the speaker and the build quality of the back here. It just really kind of knocked off a few points in our personal opinion. But overall, it probably is the ultimate retro handheld under the $100 mark because it is extremely reliable. This thing has had no crashes, it's had no frame rate drops, it runs all of the games we chuck at it perfectly smooth with zero flaws at all. Now, we have had a couple of crashes on the BitBoy Pocket Go and a couple of frame rate drops on the Retro Game 350, but overall this runs a lot smoother. And if you're not bothered about the build quality and the lack of 2 analog sticks and 4 shoulder buttons, then this is the handheld to go for. And the more and more I use it, the more and more I trust it to take out on long periods. If I'm on holiday for a couple of weeks, this is probably the handheld I take because it is powerful and it is extremely reliable. So if you are on the market and have a spare $80 and want to pick up a retro handheld, I advise picking up the GKD350H if you want power and fluidity when it comes to running your emulating games. If you want build quality, then go for the Retro Game 350. So there you have it, a quick review of the GKD350H from GameKiddy, a phenomenal handheld that we absolutely love, and we can class it as near perfect. Hopefully they do an upgraded version with a better located speaker, 4 shoulder buttons, and possibly an extra analog stick. So there you have it. If you have any questions, do hit us up on Twitter, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do hit subscribe, and we hope to see you in the next video. Peace.